I myself do get a kick out of watching people watch the movie. Sometimes I go on YouTube and I watch those reaction things and I just kind of jump around to my favorite moments. And I'll either be excited by their reaction or I get really pissed because they're not reacting enough. Hey, I'm Zach Cregger. I'm here on Letterboxd to read some reviews of my movie Weapons. Matthew Kelly, 5 stars. Josh Brolin's What the Fuck? Had me dying. I agree. It is a testimony to Josh's natural comic timing. He fucking nailed that shit. Shooting that day, I don't think that line's in the script. We were shooting and he woke up and he did his kind of scramble thing.
What the fuck?
I do know it was my idea to say what the fuck, but we just kind of went back and forth and tried a bunch of different tones of what the fuck. And when he finally hit that angry, what the fuck? It was like, that's it. That's the one. You could just feel it. And I think it resonates because it just feels so authentic. My goal for that moment is that you've been startled by this crazy lady and you're thinking to your head or hopefully out loud to your friend, what the fuck? And then right after you say it, Josh says it and it's like, holy shit. It's like a moment of, we're all simpatico. It's funny because it's real.
What the fuck?
Ariel, no rating. Okay. Wow. My favorite part was when there was a shot of a tray of hot dogs and some guy in the audience went, hell yeah. And I fucking love that. Yeah, dude. Hot dogs are awesome. Yeah, I've noticed there's been a lot of business made online about the hot dogs and about the amount of hot dogs. I have to say, when I eat a hot dog, I don't usually eat one. A lot of times I'll eat 3 and I've eaten more. There's 2 grown men here. There's 7 hot dogs. It's not science fiction that there could be 7 hot dogs on a tray. I'm a little confounded by the extent of the mania around the hot dogs. Seth's Reviews, 4.5 stars. Thank you, Seth's Reviews. It says, we simply don't get many horrors like this very often anymore. Ones that are so merciless and unashamedly silly in their execution. The kind of film that makes me want to sit and watch with a variety of people simply to see how they respond to specific scenes. 3 scenes that jumped to mind that I was excited to see in a theater. The first is Gladys in the Ceiling. I was like, I really hope this works because if it doesn't, it's like a really bad start to this movie. So that one I was pumped for. The woman coming out of the house and walking up to the car and getting in the back seat, I kind of built that sequence hoping it would be scary, then kind of weird, then confusing, then funny, I was hoping, and then scary again. That was my goal. So it's fun to sit in a room and kind of see how successful or unsuccessful I am at hitting those beats. And then obviously the kids running after Gladys and shredding her in the yard was, I was excited to watch people watch that. Kevin T. Porter, 4.5 stars, says, I'm very glad there's no metaphor that neatly maps on a one-to-one theme in this movie. It's not exactly about school shootings. It's not exactly about trauma. It's not exactly about grief. It's not exactly about child abuse, but could totally be about those things. I don't know, you decide, voters. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. I know that there's been a lot of conjecture about the meaning of the movie, and I just think that a lot of my favorite things don't have just one meaning, and they have a lot of meanings. I'm happy that people are having the conversation about it. I don't think it's appropriate for me to be a part of the conversation, but I encourage the conversation. But if I had to be out there explaining stuff, then I think that would be a failure of the movie. All right, our next review is from Cody, 4 stars. Says, I can't wait to go as Aunt Gladys for Halloween. Cody, God bless you. Nothing would make me happier than to see a sea of freaks this October. Furman, I don't know how to say this, give it a 4 star. They said, Amy Madigan steals the show. Every time she's on screen, the whole room tenses up. She's absolutely unhinged in the best way. Stressful to watch, but that's what makes her character such a standout. There's nothing forced about her performance. It's intense without ever feeling over the top. I mean, I completely agree. I think Amy Madigan is a force of nature. I had written this part wondering if there was a person that could deliver what I was kind of had in my mind. And when I had lunch with Amy, the first time I ever met her in person, it was clear instantly that there was somebody out there, and she just delivered, dude. She just over-delivered, and just being on set and watching her say my shit was emotional. I mean, I was crying from happiness a lot of the times when she's doing her thing. If she doesn't work, if Gladys is lame, the movie sucks. I could have built a pretty dope first hour, but in that second hour, if she shows up and it just is not clicking, I've wasted my time and I've wasted Warner Brothers money and I've embarrassed myself. And thank God, I found the right person who could not only do what I was hoping she could do, but take it another whole step higher. And so I'll always be in debt to Amy Madigan, and I thank my lucky stars that she came into my life. Coffee, 3.5 stars, says, you can tell this is made by a former sketch comedian because it's almost entirely set up for one really good bit. I disagree, but I respect your opinion. I think at the final kind of berserker sequence where the kids kind of have their way, I think it needs to be funny. I think it's important that it's funny because what's coming after it is a little bit of an ambivalent downer sort of a data point where we learn that like Alex didn't really get fully reunited with his parents, and these kids maybe are never actually going to come all the way back online. And if I kind of left you just with that, I think the credits would come up and people would be like, what the fuck, dude? But if I really fucking smash you in the head with a shovel of glee, then that residual glee, I think, is gonna wash over those little bitter pills, and hopefully when the credits come up, you're still smiling. And I've kind of rope-a-doped you a little bit. So that's why I kind of wanted to go really hard in the like Gonzo, Raising Arizona, slapstick gore fest. It feels kind of like Dead Alive or something. And because I had to build enough momentum to power through the real downer of the ending. I couldn't lose that downer ending. It's a horror movie. It's the only genre you're allowed to have that. But I wanted to give enough sugar so the medicine goes down. Jay gave it 4 stars. It says, Alex gets the MVP award for being the smartest kid in any horror movie ever. I'm trying to see if I can punch a hole in that. Yeah, Haley Joel Osment was dumb as bricks, wasn't he? He was stupid. Who else we got? That kid from People Under the Stairs. Fucking moron. I gotta agree. Go Alex. Olivia Craighead, no rating, says, I'm so happy to see my man Alden Ehrenreich settling into the role he was always supposed to inhabit in Hollywood. Charming, handsome guy, one wrong turn from completely losing it. Well said. Alden is just phenomenal, and I'm beyond lucky to have somebody of that caliber like doing this part. He crushed it. I love him. And he's like the coolest guy. He's just one of those dudes you like kind of get a crush on him immediately, and you always want to like say something funny, and like every time he laughed at a joke I'd make, I'd be like, he's the best. Ben of the week, 5 stars. Thank you, Ben of the week. He says, oh, my fear of needles went crazy during this. Well, have you ever heard of confrontation therapy, Ben? Maybe you need to watch this movie many, many more times. Get you over that hump, baby. All right, Sam Brown, 5 stars. Okay, says, I should give this 1 star. My friend Zach made this movie and he didn't even put me in it. Whoever heard of Julia Garner anyway? Can't you just see it? Me being all like, just stay and have a drink with me, Officer Alden Ehrenreich. I would have crushed it, but I guess I have to support 5 stars. See, Sam, the problem is that you have this weird habit where you have to call everyone you've ever seen on TV ever by their first and last name, and you do it constantly, and that's not acceptable. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes everybody very uncomfortable. I'm sorry to have to tell you this way, but I feel like I don't know how else it's gonna fucking,